Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bobbin's Minecraft Let's Play series featuring the FTB Infinity Evolve Skyblock mod pack. You're watching episode 37, and I have sad news to report. Poor Beauregard is gone. Honest officer, it was an accident. I got attacked by Eldritch Guardians, and this draconic sword that I've been using has an area of effect on it. And unfortunately, after I dispatched the Eldritch Guardian, I found that there was nothing left of poor Beauregard except for a tainted tendril. That was all that was left of him, I'm afraid. So I thought about taking and replacing him, but I know that you dedicated YouTube viewers have really fallen in love with Beauregard the Tainted Sheep and would know an imposter when you saw one, so I decided not to risk offending anyone by replacing him with a look-alike. Anyway, what's going on in today's episode? Well, unfortunately not very much. This is mostly going to be a pretty short show and tell episode, just as sort of a status update here on what's going on. I have been doing quite a bit of farming of the Gaia Guardian over here in the platform that I set up for this. Basically, there are two versions of him you can kill. One of them is the easy version, and if you kill the easy version, then every time you kill him, you will be able to make basically one crystal cluster. So, I've been killing him a few times. Now, I've also killed the hard version a couple of times, and if you kill him, considering the cost of materials to spawn him in the first place, you get a little bit better off. I think you can get 3 crystal clusters from killing him twice, but he's a much harder fight. He does drop some other loot, but I don't need it. So I think if I'm going to farm him, I prefer that my endless farming of mobs be mindless rather than complicated. So I'll probably just farm the easy one. I do see that I need to do something here. Let me turn on the appropriate overlay here for Stellar Sky so you can see the time chart that I've been keeping all this time. I'm on year 7 now. Anyway, so I have been getting some crystal clusters. I've gotten 5 of them so far. And with those 5 crystal clusters, I have done... I've used 4 of them to upgrade the blood altar, so it is now a tier 6 blood altar. I did make some rune of superior capacity over here to sort of increase the capacity of the blood altar up to 200,000 LP, because that's what you need in order to do what I did with the 5th crystal cluster, which was to make the Transcendent Blood Orb. You do need the Transcendent Blood Orb for this recipe to duplicate Primordial Pearls. Actually, you could also use the Eldritch Blood Orb. I suspect to make the Eldritch one, you probably also have to... well, that says what you... I'd have to go look it up. It's probably not worth looking up because I don't plan on using it. Once you have the Transcendent Blood Orb, you can do everything you need to do in this mod pack, as far as I know. I may find out otherwise, in which case I will keep you up to date. But the Primordial Pearl is used for the last of the achievements, making the Everlasting Guilty Mana Pool. You need 4 of them, and you get 1 of them for completely clearing for clearing the boss out of one of those Thaumcraft dungeons. And I do not want to do that process again because that took quite a long time. So I'm going to use this duplication. It's going to involve quite a bit of farming, but it's pretty straightforward. It just requires a lot of LP and a very high-end blood orb. Now, You also need 4 of these crystal clusters in order to complete that recipe, aside from the others that you use along the way, duplicating primordial pearls. When I get to that point, I will probably downgrade the blood altar. I'll just salvage these and use these 4. No point in doing more farming than I have to, because to be honest, this mod pack I actually like quite a bit at the beginning of it and into the intermediate stages, simply because everything focuses more around more automation and more interaction between mods and the complicated crafting recipes and some of the difficulty of acquiring some of the components and so on. However, I'm finding that the end game of it really just involves a lot of grinding of boss mobs, and that is significantly less appealing to me. I'm still planning on toughing it out, but it's going to be a lot of grinding, and I'm probably not going to have just a ton of stuff to report along the way. I am still working on the second of 4 creative energy cells, I think that's what they're called, that you have to have for the tank. You only have to have 1 tank, thankfully, and it looks like once I finish the tank, I will probably already have all the materials to do the final combine. The big challenge on the final one for making the mana pool is this. If we go in and look at the recipe, you've gathered all these materials along the way, and it's a lot of it. And what you find is that it's a dangerous combine using arcane infusion. And I haven't counted all these components, but I want to say that I read somewhere that there were 38 of them. I should probably go and count. If that's true, then I'm not sure that you can get a symmetrical arrangement around your altar. So you've got to have lots of stuff to mitigate instability. And because it requires 512 of each of these 6 different aspects, so I guess that's 3,072 aspects it's got to take in there. This is going to be a very long-running, dangerous infusion. So it has a very high risk of failing. And with that many components, if it fails, it's going to be kind of hard to know which one to replace. And some of these are sufficiently expensive that you may not have a lot of extras of them around. I mean, certainly any of the Britannia runes or the slates or even this null catalyst are easy to keep around. The null catalyst is just a nether star, really. Some of these others, like the primordial pearls, those are extremely expensive. The wand I haven't really looked at yet, but I know it's expensive. I've gotten the recipe for it, but I haven't made it yet. So this is actually going to be quite a challenge to get going. I will be really building up the infusion altar quite a bit to add as much stability as I possibly can. Although I will say that so far I haven't had any problems on the crystal clusters. You know, they don't require nearly as long to run, and it's only moderate, but I haven't had a peep out of it. I actually don't think I've had a peep out of the altar on anything, even dangerous things, since I put in all of the stability modifiers that I've got now. I've basically got 2 layers of them here, and I've got another, looks like 3 layers down below. I will probably add, I don't know how far it can reach, but I may try and add another layer below and maybe another 2 layers above, and then expand out these layers just a little bit to try and get as much as I possibly can in there. It's going to be a while before it's ready for that combine. So other than that, really, I've just been letting things sort of grind their way through. I'm still getting the components gradually over here for making the cells. We can actually see what I did with the energy cell here. I've got all of this power conversion going on, between RF and EU, and it's coming through high voltage connectors and going off over here to the mass fab. Now you'll notice that I don't have scrap in the mass fab full time. That is why I have not really exploited all possible power that could go in here. I could make this quite a bit more and ship in quite a bit more power, because I'm not even really touching this. This thing stays full all the time. I can completely drain it by going and charging draconium blocks, and if I do that, it takes about a minute to fill that whole big capacitor bank again. So it's not really draining anywhere nearly as much power as it could, but because I don't have the scrap being generated quickly enough to keep the mass fab supplied with scrap full time, it's not going to make that much incremental difference if I do. I'll have to scale up scrap to do that. It's very laggy, so I'm not sure that I'm really going to do that. I've certainly looked at it a little bit. I added a few more overclock upgrades over there on the recyclers. So I'm getting a little bit more scrap, but I just don't know if it's really worth doing it, because I'm probably still able to make the solar panels faster than I'm farming dragons. So that is basically what's going on here in the world of Infinity Evolved Skyblock. There is some progress. It's somewhat slow progress, but it is nonetheless actual progress. I'm currently refilling my LP network after building the Demon Village. I don't know if I really need to, but I am. So I guess that's going to be it. And I do want to thank you for watching, and I will see you next episode.